There is a play coming up, and that is Crippled. It's coming up on February the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th at the LSPU Hall. And I've got Paul David Power, playwright and actor, and Pat Dempsey, actor, here with me in the studio. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
Oh, anytime. So your play Crippled, it's not a something that you normally hear about, a true life experience brought to life on the stage.
Crippled is based on my own life experience. Dealing with, in 2013, I had a long-term partner, Jonathan, who passed away suddenly in 2013. And as an artist, I felt, going through grief and loss and all that, the need to express myself. And for a long time, I did that through poetry writing and video making and all that sort of stuff, just more of a personal audience for my family or just for me. And then I started thinking about, my playwriting hat, and it stemmed from there, wanting to express what it's like to lose someone close to you and go through that whole transformation that usually grief brings about in your life. And so that's one of the major themes of the play, which of course was my own experience, as well as being true to my identity. I have a disability. I use crutches and leg braces for extra support. So I did make the character that's telling the story about grief also have a disability. So disability issues as being part of the play just sort of stem from there. But I'd really call Crippled more of a love story, more so than a lot of people term a disabled play. I mean, it hits upon all the sort of disability issues, but it's more about that love story, and that's all my personal experiences. But it is a character I'm playing on the stage, and I make a friend to help me through what I'm feeling. Another character, and that's Pat Dempsey is the other lead actor. As well as we have another great actor with us who can't be with us here today, about Matt White. And so his character's in the play, but the story reflects my own experiences.
Okay, so a lot of playwrights, they try to disguise the real experience with, fictional happenings and things like that. But you're mostly sticking true to your life experiences.
I am. There's a few monologues in there about experiencing loss or experiencing, going to a bar and being stared at because you don't look the same as everybody else in that bar, like down on George Street or something. That all comes from yes, in George Street, a bar, more likely it's my experience, but it all stems from my own personal experiences coming from that and making that into theatrical monologue.
So how long did it take you to develop the play, like from conception, when you got your idea?
Well, it's been in development for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So I started writing, or came up with the idea of it 2 years ago. And I have a great dramaturge. Many people probably know the name Robert Chafe. So he's been working on the script with me.
Wow.
So it's been like a 2-year creative process, which was great. And we did a workshop version in St. John, New Brunswick at the Fundy Fringe Festival. And that workshop version won the best production of the festival. So that was a great sort of a feather in the hat to continue on and bring it to full production, which is what we're doing at the hall this month.
Great. And Pat, can you tell us a bit about your character that you're playing?
Aside from Paul's character, Tony, who, as you said, is a man who kind of is based on Paul's experiences. In the play, we kind of start with him down on the waterfront, and he's sort of at this moment of sort of a juncture in his life, I'd say, where he's up to making some big choices. And at this moment, he's approached by a stranger, Evan, who's the character I play. And so through this interaction of these two men speaking on this St. John's harbor front in the middle of the night, a lot of Tony's issues come out, and they kind of talk through them and agree on things and don't agree on other things. He acts sort of a bit as a foil to Tony's experiences and tries to be up when Tony's down. Maybe is a bit more serious when Tony's running away from things. So sort of a sounding board, I guess, a little bit for Paul's character. And through the course of the play, we sort of try to capture and get down to the roots of the character's issues that he's dealing with in the play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Paul, in real life, you did lose a partner, and it must have been hard to write the play. And did you ever come across any times where you just felt like not going ahead with it?
Yeah, many times. That's the great thing of if you're an artist, in whatever medium. I feel I always have to express myself in some way, right? And, for us artists, it's showing that whatever your medium is, and for me, it's writing. And the play gave me a chance to put into words or dialogue what I was feeling or what it's like to go through grief, and to act that out, I guess. And what I've learned. Jonathan passed away in 2013, so it's been over 4 years now. But through that whole process, that's ongoing. It never stops. Mm-hmm. I've met so many people who've lost someone, and I'm sure we've all lost someone in our lives. And there's a shared understanding of when you go through grief or loss like that. There's a different. There's a transformation in life, or how you view life, or how you approach life, and I wanted to share all that with on stage. But yes, you're right; it's challenging as well. I am referring to losing my partner, which is brought up in the play, and the whole 2-year creation process. You have deadlines in that, but some parts of the play are quite painful because it comes from real pain, and it's difficult. Every day I need to go back and edit that. I'm not in the mood to go there right now, but mm-hmm. I have a deadline tomorrow. So it was like sort of those challenges. And even through the rehearsal process, there's some really fun parts of the play and banter between myself and Pat. And there's other parts that are pretty heavy that, still hit home to me. And it's a challenge in the rehearsal process too. And I'm really not in the mood to do that at 10 o'clock this morning.
No.
So it's a learning experience though too, to be an artist, especially if you want to be a professional artist and deliver a product. It's overcoming all those challenges.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You put a lot of work into it, and people can go check out the website, crippled.ca, to see all the information. And you mentioned you workshopped it once. Did you get any reactions from any people, any input, any feedback that, inspired you or sent you in another different direction, or, added to the production?
I think I've gotten a lot of feedback that solidified we're on the right direction. Mm-hmm. We did table reads of Crippled in all 4 Atlantic provinces at one point, and got feedback about how it hit home for people who have experienced grief or who has lost someone, as well as the disability side, and we explored a lot about audience needs and everything during those workshops. Mm-hmm. It also propelled us to make Crippled an accessible show. That's the other side of the project, and we're making it as accessible as possible for our audience members, which I learned is very lacking during those table reads and community discussions. So we have sign language interpretation for a couple of shows. We have audio description coming in for people who are blind or have any kind of sight impairment, which I think is a first for theater in Newfoundland, which we're really excited about, and as well as a relaxed performance in that. So when you're talking about, what did I learn through all that process, it was things are working on stage, as well as how can we make it work better for the audience experience. So yeah, we've learned a lot through the whole creation process.
And Pat, you've been around the hall for quite a while, and involved in all kinds of aspects of setting up shows. And what is the with reference to accessibility, like Paul was speaking about, and the set. Is it an elaborate set for the play, or is it minimalist, or?
I would say it's minimalist. I mean, we have what's there, and it's and those are deliberate, great set pieces. The whole thing takes place on the wharf. So right now, we sort of have a wharf of sorts. It will be sort of a raised platform that everything's performed on. It's not elaborate. I mean, it's sort of just an intimate space for us to kind of get the story out. But it's used rather well. And so in terms of setup, it's about putting the right things in the right place, and it's turned out to be really effective in that way. And it's really interesting what Paul was talking about with this improved level of accessibility, because one thing that we've learned sort of in this process is, as we describe how we're making the show accessible, people seem to link the word accessibility with wheelchair access. So a lot of people say, oh, the hall is accessible. There's a lift, there's a ramp. What more do you need? And this is where we're finally getting into other realms of accessibility. People with hearing impairments, people with visual impairments, that kind of thing. And sort of hopefully rerouting the direction of what is a standard theater play. Things that seem kind of weird. Oh, there's going to be somebody on stage doing sign language with you. Does that take you out of the play, or is it a welcome part of the play? And that's been very interesting too. There's certain lines in the play that I'm really excited to see how they come across in sign language. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say them on air, but all the more reason it seems exciting.
Wow, fantastic. Well, the show is coming up February 7th. How do people get tickets? 7th to the 10th. How do people get tickets?
At the RCA box office.
Okay.
No, these are the lines in the address. 753-4531 is the box office,
right.
and rca.nf.ca online.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming in. And everybody, check out the website. Once again, crippled.ca. And you can go to rca.nf.ca, I think, to buy tickets online, and call the hall.
That's right.
753-4531. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thank you.